3 months ago, Malcolm began brushing off his behavior as just jokes whenever I raised concerns. It started in September, when I asked him not to flirt with other women at parties. He laughed it off, telling his friends I was obsessed with him. Dean, Randall, and Curtis all found this funny and started making remarks about clingy girlfriends whenever I was around. Malcolm soon began pushing boundaries. He danced with girls at bars and winked at me across the room. He handed out his number to strangers right in front of me. When I confronted him, he insisted I was being dramatic about normal social interaction. "It's just dancing," he'd say, shaking his head like I was unreasonable. His friends backed him up every time. At Curtis's birthday party last weekend, Malcolm's ex, Sabrina, showed up in a tight red dress. She had been messaging him for weeks, but he claimed they were just friends. I watched her touch his arm and run her fingers along his bicep. Malcolm kept smirking at me, while Dean and Randall positioned themselves nearby with their phones out, recording everything. The party was packed with people from our college and nearby schools. Malcolm had been drinking since 8 p.m. He bought Sabrina drinks all night, ignoring me completely. When I tried to join their conversation, he'd turn away or change the subject. By 11 o'clock, he grabbed Sabrina by the waist and kissed her in front of everyone, hands on her hips, full tongue, lasting at least 30 seconds. Dean and Randall immediately chanted, "She deserved it," pointing their cameras at me. Some people laughed, others looked uncomfortable, but no one said anything. Malcolm pulled away, looked right at me, and shouted, "Just a joke, babe," before squeezing Sabrina's waist again. I walked out. Before I even reached my car, Malcolm began sending messages, 15 by the time I got home. He accused me of ruining his night, demanded I apologize to Sabrina, and told me everyone thought I was psycho. He claimed I embarrassed him and needed to learn to take a harmless joke. The next morning, I saw his Instagram stories from midnight to 3 a.m. Videos of him grinding on other girls. Captions like, "This is what happens when you try to control me. Freedom feels so good." His last post read, "Single life hits different," tagging all his friends. At 3 a.m. Sunday, he showed up at my apartment, pounding on the door. When I opened it, he reeked of alcohol, cigarettes, and perfume. His shirt was wrinkled and stained. "You're a psycho girlfriend," he slurred. "Every guy cheats eventually. At least I did it to your face instead of sneaking around." I told him to leave. He laughed, saying I'd forgive him by Tuesday, reminding me of the time he kissed my sister's friend and I got over it. Then he stumbled off. On Monday, Dean messaged me on Instagram, claiming Malcolm was teaching me a lesson about trust and that I should be grateful. Later, Celeste, Curtis's girlfriend, forwarded me 23 screenshots from their group chat. Malcolm bragged about putting me in my place, writing, "She'll come crawling back like always." Randall replied with laughing emojis. Curtis called it a savage move, and Dean said I needed the reality check. Malcolm even sent a shirtless photo captioned, "Single life is treating me well." He immediately started talking about fixing things. I told him we could talk there in the lobby. He insisted I was being unfair, claiming he came to apologize. But his apology was that I had misunderstood his joke. Not sorry for kissing his ex or humiliating me, just sorry I couldn't take it. When I refused to engage, he got louder, saying I was blowing things out of proportion. By then, half the office was watching. Finally, he lowered his voice and told me he wouldn't leave until we worked it out. That's when I realized he truly believed I'd cave. But I didn't. I told him clearly we were done. Not a break, done. His expression shifted from disbelief to anger to fake laughter. He claimed I was just upset and would change my mind. I explained the kiss was deliberate humiliation. His group chat messages showed how he really felt. And his drunken 3 a.m. visit wasn't romantic, but disrespectful and frightening. He brushed it off, saying guys exaggerate in group chats and that the kiss meant nothing. When I mentioned feeling unsafe, he rolled his eyes. Come on, you know I'd never hurt you. Stop being so dramatic. That dismissal told me everything. He doesn't respect me, my feelings, or my safety. I walked away, leaving him in the lobby. Later, my sister Celeste told me Malcolm had called her, trying to twist the story. He told her I had a jealous breakdown over innocent flirting. But since Celeste had been at the party and saw it all, she shut him down immediately, saying what he did was public humiliation, not flirting. The next morning, I got a text from Malcolm's mom wanting to meet for coffee and talk about working things out. That's when I realized his plan: involve family and friends to pressure me. But I've been planning something of my own since Sunday. If he wants to play games, he's about to see my version. Malcolm's manipulation escalated. Saturday morning, his mom called mine, claiming I was in some emotional crisis. I told my mom the real story, and she called Malcolm's mom back. On speaker, I heard Malcolm's mom defend him, saying he was devastated by my silence. My mom explained what actually happened. Malcolm's mom went quiet, then insisted her son wouldn't lie, that there were two sides to every story. My mom lost patience, telling her any mother who defends public humiliation raised her son to disrespect women. Malcolm's mom hung up. Sunday, my dad called. Malcolm had shown up at their house, telling him I had jealousy issues and asking my dad to convince me to reconcile. My dad called me, confused. I immediately drove over and told my parents everything about the boundaries, the kiss, the group chat screenshots. My mom showed my dad the evidence. He was furious. He called Malcolm on speaker and asked him about the group chat. Malcolm claimed it was just guy talk. When asked about the kiss, he said it looked worse than it was. Then my dad asked why he lied when he came to their house. Malcolm claimed he was protecting my reputation by not telling them how badly I overreacted. That's when my dad told him directly, lying to manipulate family isn't protecting anyone. Publicly humiliating your girlfriend and then lying about it means you're not welcome in our house again. Malcolm tried to argue, but my dad ended it right there. If my dad had known how controlling and jealous I'd become, he would have understood why Malcolm was at his breaking point. But instead, my dad completely went off on him. He told Malcolm that no matter what, kissing another woman in front of your girlfriend is unacceptable. Real men end relationships when they're unhappy. They don't publicly humiliate their partners for entertainment. Malcolm tried to cut in, but my dad shut him down. He said that lying to parents to manipulate their daughter shows exactly what kind of person Malcolm is. Any man who does that is a coward, unwilling to face the consequences of his actions. The call ended with my dad telling Malcolm never to contact our family again before hanging up on him. The next morning, I woke up to 31 texts from Malcolm. The messages started around 2 a.m. and kept coming until 6. It was pure desperation. Your parents turned against me because of your lies. I wasn't lying. I was protecting you. You're ruining everything over one stupid mistake. I can't sleep or eat without you. Everyone's on your side without hearing mine. But around 4 a.m., the tone darkened. You made me look like a monster to both families. I gave you everything, and now you're using it against me. 2 years wasted because you can't forgive. I don't even know who you are anymore. His final text at 6 a.m. read, "I'm not giving up on us, no matter what you do." By Wednesday evening, Malcolm showed up at my parents' house again. My dad spotted him on the porch and called me. When I arrived, Malcolm said he had been waiting for hours to explain his side. He spoke quickly, saying everyone had turned against him based on incomplete information. The group chat was out of context. The kiss with Sabrina was drunken stupidity, not intentional cruelty. He insisted he loved me and would never deliberately hurt me. I told him it didn't matter. Intentional or not, his actions caused harm, and now he had to live with the consequences. Malcolm grew frustrated, accusing me of being unforgiving over one drunken mistake. He asked me to focus on our 2 years together instead of one bad night. He brought up trips, holidays, future plans, saying all that should outweigh a single lapse in judgment. But here's what stood out. He still wouldn't take full responsibility. It was always a mistake or bad judgment. Never an admission that he kissed his ex to hurt me or allowed his friends to film my humiliation. My dad came outside and told Malcolm to leave immediately. Malcolm argued he had a right to save his relationship and accused my dad of interfering. My dad reminded him that once he lied to parents to manipulate their daughter, it became their business. Malcolm eventually left, but not before saying, "This isn't over. You still love me, and one day you'll see you're throwing away the best thing that ever happened to you." The problem is, Malcolm genuinely believes he's the victim. In his mind, I'm destroying a good relationship over something minor. But I'd already started working on something that would show him exactly who he was dealing with. And after watching him manipulate both families, I was more determined than ever to make sure he faced the consequences. The trap was almost ready. Malcolm thought he knew me, but he had no idea what I was capable of when pushed too far. And then, it happened. The plan I'd been building finally came together, and Malcolm's world collapsed. Here's what I knew. Malcolm has always loved bragging about his conquests. He filmed the kiss with Sabrina because he wanted proof of his power. So I was certain he had saved videos from that night. On Thursday, I texted Malcolm, asking to meet. Not to reconcile, but to have an honest talk about what went wrong. He immediately agreed and suggested the cafe where we'd had our first date. I insisted on somewhere private, like his apartment, so we could speak without interruptions. He agreed, clearly thinking I was ready to crawl back. By Saturday, when I arrived at his place, he had clearly made an effort. Cleaned up, dressed well, even made coffee. I told him I wanted to understand his perspective. Maybe I had overreacted, and I'd listen without interrupting. Malcolm lit up and launched into his explanation. He never meant harm. Peer pressure and alcohol made things worse. The kiss was just stupidity, not betrayal. I asked questions. What did his friends say? How did it start? What led up to it? He grew animated, explaining that Dean and Randall teased him about being whipped and dared him to prove otherwise. Then he revealed something new. Dean had texted Sabrina earlier that week, inviting her to the party specifically to test our relationship. Malcolm claimed he only learned of the plan that night, but was too drunk to resist. I pretended to be shocked, asking why he went along with something meant to humiliate me. He claimed he felt cornered between disappointing me or his friends. I told him I appreciated his honesty and that maybe I had judged too quickly. He relaxed, thinking he'd won me over. Then I asked if he still had videos from that night. My friends wanted details, and I wanted clarity. Hesitant, he admitted he had them. Eventually, he agreed to watch them together. There were at least 15 clips. The first showed him dancing with other women, while his friends mocked me. Then came the ones with Sabrina, groping, whispering in her ear while staring at me. His friends chanting, "This is so good." The worst was him aggressively kissing her, while his friends chanted, "I deserved it." And after I left, another video showed them making out again, even more intensely, with Randall urging him to post it. As we watched, Malcolm tried to downplay everything. Too drunk, looked worse on camera, friends egging him on. When the videos ended, I told him what I saw was deliberate cruelty, and no excuse could justify it. Then came the moment. I revealed I'd been recording our entire conversation, every admission, every excuse, alongside the video evidence. Malcolm went pale. He accused me of tricking him, but I reminded him we live in a one-party consent state. His confession and his videos were enough proof of who he really was. I started a group chat with both families and sent a message explaining everything, attaching the videos and his admissions. The responses were immediate. My parents were furious and supportive. His parents were disgusted, demanding he come home. Malcolm panicked, begging me to stop, trying to grab my phone. I told him he should have thought about that before humiliating me. He accused me of ruining his life over one mistake, threatened to smear me as manipulative. I reminded him the evidence spoke for itself. As I left, I warned him never to contact me again, or I'd file harassment charges. Driving home, I felt powerful, like I had finally gotten justice. My parents hugged me, apologized for not seeing the full picture sooner, and told me how proud they were. Later, Celeste sent me screenshots showing the group chat had exploded. Everyone knew the truth now. Malcolm has been silent online ever since. And the best part? I didn't need to do anything illegal. He destroyed himself with his own words and actions. Some people don't deserve forgiveness. Some need to face the full weight of their choices. Malcolm is one of them. I'm done giving second chances to men who don't respect me. He thought he could humiliate me and then manipulate me back. Instead, he learned exactly where I stand, several levels above him.